So Giacomo Turra got caught stealing other people's work and selling it as his own. He also got caught miming over basically everything that he ever did, except for the live performances, which were atrocious. And this hits a little bit different than other things in the past, and I will go in depth as for why. In the past, there have been other guys that have been miming and faking things. For example, I don't know if you guys remember, but Jared Threaten from the band Threaten, the fake band, right? This happened a while ago. And he recorded like a whole album, faked an entire persona about a famous band and so on. Even got to, you know, book a whole tour across Europe, all the way until Italy, even. And now that guy is like the real deal compared to Giacomo. The guy from Threaten actually knew how to play and recorded a whole album and got to play on stage without mistakes and so on. But what really bothers me about Giacomo is that he really tried hard to make it look like he was playing in a natural setting at home. He would put on the in-ear monitor system so like hear the other people, you know. He would show his interface plugged in. He would show like an amplifier mic'd up. He would run around his studio changing instruments like he's doing like a really spontaneous thing, you know. But it was all just MIDI VSTs and like it was all fake. It was all like a big show, you know. And another thing that hasn't been talked about is that what happened to the musicians that were playing alongside him for all this time? I saw like this Asian saxophonist and she's just like dancing like crazy, you know, and I'm like, man, is she fake too? You know, I start wondering, and how come these other musicians didn't think it was sketch that Giacomo couldn't play live? You know, they knew he was faking his stuff because, you know, you cannot just fake to be a great guitar player if eventually you grab the guitar with your friends and you're not. And his whole body language on stage just screams like, dude, I don't really know what I'm doing, and this guitar thing went too far and I hope I don't get caught. Like that's what I see on stage when I look at him. But it's weird that those musicians just like kept collaborating with him for the likes until now, you know. And so even like pretty good ones, so there is something sketch about that. Another thing that's shocking is like the amount of time that he dedicated to learn how to fake the guitar, right? Because a lot of his improvisations he mimes over are actually pretty complex, you know, and hard. And they're meant to be improvisations, and he's treating them like real written music parts. And it's just shocking to see that all of these things that he memorized, like where to go on the frets, where to play on the which everything, all the notes and everything, all the scales, it's just crazy that he actually doesn't know any scales and he just memorized these licks. Like he memorized all these licks and riff and little riffs and tricks, right? He memorized all of that, but he doesn't understand what's going on in the music, right? He doesn't know scales, doesn't know chord progressions, doesn't know like anything, and he memorizes things. But why did he do that? So at the beginning of his career, he probably deciphered one of these solos, right? Recorded it slow, mimed over it, and got a bunch of likes and said, "Hey, making it in music is not that hard. I'm just gonna keep doing this." So he eventually he became like a short attention span Instagram guitarist who paid other people to transcribe cool improvisations for him so he could just memorize where to go on the frets for like 30 seconds or so. Now, that seems like a lot of work to learn how to fake play guitar and memorize solos on a guitar you can't even play. He even learned musician body language. At the end of his videos, you can always see him nodding and smiling to other musicians like, dude, yeah, man, we got it on this take. Yeah, that was the one. Uh-huh. You know, like he memorized like all these cues that musicians do, like real musicians do. But what he's doing is like all fake. It's all just like he learned how to fake it, you know, which is insane. It would have been a lot easier to just become a real musician in the first place, and he would be a lot more happy too, right? And this whole situation is just kind of sad because, playing live and seeing a live performance is supposed to be like the ecstasy. It's supposed to be the ultimate musical expression. When you watch a band live, you don't say, "Man, I wish you could just go back home and listen to these guys on Spotify." It's usually the other way around. You're like at home listening to a record or whatever, and you're like, "Man, I can't wait until these guys come to my city so I can check them out live and see how good of a show they put on, and I'm gonna enjoy it so much, and I'm gonna see my heroes in real life." It's really sad that it has come down to this. It's really kind of funny. Giacomo, if you're gonna watch this, start practicing. I think people in the end are gonna forget about this in a couple of years. And if you do your work, if you do your practice, you can come back. But until then, no. You are in guitar jail right now. With that being said, I hope I hit some points that nobody else has mentioned. And don't forget to subscribe and like this video.